Hey everyone, welcome back to DevOps Talk. So in the last session we installed Docker and learned how the client and the daemon work together behind the scene. Now it's time to dive into one of Docker's core concept, which is Docker image layers. We'll start with a quick recap of what a Docker image, container and registry are, just to set the foundation. Then we'll explore how an image is actually built step by step. Then you will see how these image layers make Docker fast and efficient, and we'll use commands like docker history and docker image inspect to look inside real images and visualize their layer structure. By the end, you will have a clear understanding of how Docker stacks and reuses layers. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right in. So let's understand Docker image layers. How Docker images are built, stored and optimized through layered architecture. So here is the quick recap of Docker image. A Docker image is like a blueprint or template, which you already know that I explained that in the previous session, so you can go and check it out. So the Docker image contains everything your application needs. For example, the code, dependencies, libraries and environment setups. Think of it like a recipe for how to create your application. And what was Docker container? A container is a running instance of that image which we build or which we will pull from Docker Hub. If the image is the recipe, the container is the actual disk prepared from it. It uses the images layers and adds a small writable layer on top. So when we pull that image and if we create a container out of the image, then the container uses the image layers and adds a small writable layer on top. Why? Because image layers are read-only layers. Those are immutable, so it can run, make temporary changes and act like a lightweight isolated mini computer. You can start, stop, delete or run multiple containers from the same image. And what was Docker registry? A Docker registry is a storage and distribution system for Docker images. It's like GitHub for Docker images. So Docker registry is a place where you will store and distribute your Docker images. You can push your images to registry to share them, pull images from registry to use them locally. So common examples of the registry are Docker Hub and Amazon ECR. These are the common ones. You can store it in GitHub Container Registry and Google Artifact Registry as well. So in short, the images are blueprint that contains everything your application needs. The container is a running instance, a live isolated environment created from the image. The registry is a storage center where images are stored and shared. Now let's dive into image layers. So what are the image layers? So container images are composed of layers. Every image has layers and those are stacked together. And each of these layers once created are immutable. When we build a Docker image, it's not a single big file. Instead, it's made of multiple layers stacked one over another like a layered cake. So one by one the layer will be added. Every layer stores a file system changes. That means any files or folders that were added, modified or deleted when building the image. That means when you create an image, which we will see in the next session how to create an image. That means when you will create one image, whenever you will add, modify or delete one file or folder, that will bring a new layer. Let me show you some example. As I said, each layer in an image contains a set of file system changes. We can add, delete or modify. So let's have a look on this image. The first layer adds a basic commands and a package manager like apt. So this is the base layer. Like here the OS you will specify. So this acts kind of a package manager or a base OS. And here is the second layer, which installs a Python runtime and pip for dependency management. So this becomes the second layer. And this third layer, which will copy the application specific requirement files. So this will become the third layer. And the fourth layer install all the application specific dependencies. The fifth layer copies the actual source code of the application. So these all will become a image. So in that image we have 5 layers. In the first layer we are adding the base OS, or let's say base package manager. In the second layer we are installing Python runtime. In the third layer we are adding the requirement file. In the fourth layer we are adding all the dependencies, and in the fifth layer we are copying our source code to that image. So this is how the layer exists inside the image. If we look the second image, in the second image, if you see, I have the same OS, I mean the same base layer, and after that I'm adding the Python runtime, which will be my second layer. Let's say here I have the application, and next time I want to create another Python application, which is app2. This time the build will make faster and reduce the amount of storage and bandwidth. Why? Because it's adding the base layer, it's reusing the base layer. Once you build an image, each layer is identified by a hash. So even if you rebuild, Docker knows exactly which parts are unchanged, and that has stored in this directory /var/live/docker. In this path this layer is stored. Once you rebuild with one another application code, Docker analyzes that it has already that layer, and it uses that layer cache and reuses that cache to build another application. In this example we have app1 and app2. App1 we already had built in, like we already built that, and when we will rebuild the app2, Docker will analyze it already has two layers, and it will add additional information which is provided in the second app cache. So in that case, Docker will help you to build faster and reduce the amount of storage and the bandwidth. So the layers let you extend images of others by reusing their base layer, and it allows you to add only the data that your application needs. So this is needed because this is changed, and this remains unchanged. So Docker will reuse this base layer. So after each layer is downloaded, it is extracted into its own directory on the host file system, and this is where it's stored. Now let's jump back to our PPT. Let's say we are building an image for Python app. The first layer might add basic Linux command and a package manager like apt. The second layer installs Python and pip. The third layer copies a requirement.txt file, which I showed you. The fourth layer installs dependencies from that file, and the fifth layer copies the actual source code. Each of these steps become a separate layer in that image. I showed you how it became a separate layer in that particular image. So now let's see why layers are important. Layers make Docker fast and efficient. If you build another Python app, Docker can reuse the same base layer like Ubuntu and Python. It doesn't download or rebuild them again, which I showed you in that example. That means faster builds, less storage and less bandwidth. Basically, you only add new layers for what's unique to your app. So whatever unique you will be adding, only that layer will be rebuilt. Otherwise, Docker uses the previous layer, and it helps you build faster, use less storage and use less bandwidth. And how it works internally: when you pull or build an image, Docker downloads or creates its layer and saves them in the host's local storage. By default, under var live docker on Linux, each layer has a unique ID and is read-only. I told you the layer is immutable. The layer became immutable. So it has a unique ID and it is read-only. When multiple images uses the same layer, for example the same Ubuntu base or the Python runtime, Docker doesn't duplicate it. It just reuses the existing layer from the host's local cache. When you run a container, Docker stacks all these layers together using something called a union file system. It combines them into one unified view that looks like normal Linux file system. So Docker stacks all these layers together using something called a union file system. It combines them into one unified view that looks like a normal file system. So this is the layer 1, 2 and 3. This becomes union file system, and the final image file system has all the layer included, and on top of that it added a small writable layer, which is this one here. Then Docker adds a small writable layer on top. This is where the container can make changes while it's running. Alright, the original image layers stay read only. So this layer 1, 2, 3 they stay read-only mode, in read-only. But the final file system, image file system, that became a small writable layer on top of the original image layers. So you can run multiple containers from the same image without affecting each other. So this became immutable, so you can just share with others and you can run multiple containers from the same image. So this is how it internally works. In short, a Docker image, many read-only layers stacked together. Each layer changes to the file system. The files are added, removed or modified. Whenever we'll add, remove or modify something, that will become a layer. What is the container? The image layers plus one small writable layer on top, which is the final image file system. Reusing layers saves time, space, and makes Docker super efficient. Let's inspect layers of an image. To inspect that, you can use Docker image inspect or Docker history. So you will get this kind of outputs. Let's go to my screen and let's do an inspect. So in the last session, we ran a container which we used for to test our Docker installation. Let's inspect that image and let's inspect its layers. To view the images, we'll use a command like docker images. So this is the image which we were using. Let's check its history. Docker history, then the image name. You can see it has two layers. One is this one and another one is this one. Let's pull one another image. Let's say I'll pull Docker. To pull an image from Docker Hub, you will use Docker pull command. I'll pull the Ubuntu image. It's downloaded and you see the unique ID. Let's check its history. Docker history Ubuntu. You see how many layers it has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. It has 6 layers. So you will have some confusion like why these layer sizes are 0 bytes and one layer has 78 MB. Because this layer is adding a file, that means it is holding something. And here as well, if you see the copy layer, it is holding something, that's why it has some size. Whereas these are the arguments and the commands. So it is only doing some argument, command and labels. So it is just executing some commands and arguments. It is only just executing some commands and adding some arguments and some labels. So that's why these layers sizes are in 0 bytes. If you want to see the metadata or the details of the image, you can use Docker image inspect, then the image name, not images, Docker image inspect. Now here you can see the ID, the repository tags, and the OS, the drivers, every metadata you can see of the image here. And that's how you can inspect and you can see the layer images. And that wraps up this session. We started with a quick recap of images, container and registries, and then broke down how every Docker image is made up of multiple read-only layers, and we show how these layers help Docker reuse common components, like how it make us to build faster, lighter and more efficient. So in the next session, we'll take this knowledge bit forward and get hands-on on writing Dockerfile, how to build and tag an image, and we'll learn how to publish it to a registry. And also, we'll explore the build cache in action. If you're finding this workshop helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to DevOps Doc. I'll see you in the next time. Take care. Bye bye.